Box operations new. What's some other news of stuff going on recently? Tomorrow, well, by the time this is published over on YouTube, you know, it'll already be published, but at the time of streaming this, tomorrow I plan to publish the first episode of the Harmonic Podcast, because I'm not creative with naming things, where Satan and I talked about review scores in video games, where it's like, how accurate are review scores? How much do they encapsulate the quality of a game? How much information do they miss? Are they good? Are they bad? Should we keep on doing them? What things would we consider something that would elevate a score? You know, all kinds of things there. The conversation spiraled in some interesting directions. It ended up being a 3-hour conversation. And we actually recorded a little while back. I might have already mentioned this. I think I already did mention this part. But one of the bits of gameplay footage playing in the background of it is my original Metroid Prime playthrough, because I edited it before Metroid Prime Remastered was even announced, you know? So there was that. I need this thingamabob here. Sweet DNA sample. I don't want to know what occurred on this desk. Okay, let's go up this way. Is what we can do. So you're harm, aren't you? Or has you been wreaking havoc with our plans? Yeah, that's me. So yeah, there's that. And Satan and me were just talking the other day about like, hey, is this something that we want to continue doing? Is it, do we have like other topics? And as we were talking it out, it seems like, yeah, there's a lot of different topics that we could actually talk about when we like rack our minds for, you know, what could be some interesting things to discuss. And it sounds like the next planned thingamabob is going to be what makes a flaw in a video game. Oh my goodness, there's another electrode. No. Might be the next thing that we end up discussing. My god, do you mind? This is insane. So yeah, that may end up happening there. I told him that I want to knock a couple of games off the schedule first. Like, a podcast thingamabob, it doesn't take too long a production to make. Like, just do the actual recording session itself of like 1 to 3 hours or whatever the heck it ends up as. And then do like some very minor editing of just going through, adding some gameplay footage and some music and stuff. Is all that's going on there. So it doesn't take like a lot of, you know, effort to make. But I told him, like, the things are still pretty crazy around here. Let me knock off a game or two and then I'll follow up with you. Is what I told him. Gosh dang it! So yeah, that'll go on at some point after I knock off some thingamabobs. The easiest things to knock off at this point will be Pokémon Colosseum, which I can probably do in a couple streams here. Maybe Assassin's Creed Origins, which, like, I'll beat the main game in one more sitting. I have no doubt about that. But there's also DLC that might take a few streams. So, you know, I might still have a decent bit to go on that. Persona 5 are in the Royal content, but, you know, it's probably still going to take me a little while. You know, Fire Emblem Engage is going to take me quite some time left. You know, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe should be a pretty short game. I should be able to, like, get through that pretty quick. If I do end up doing a full playthrough of Metroid Prime Remastered, now that I know, like, oh, sweet, what I have to do and stuff, maybe I'd be able to get through it with some decent speed. I don't know. Octopath 2 would take me 3,000 years, though, you know. It's freaking Octopath Traveler. Is the case. But yeah, let's see here. Never failed you a single time. You used one-hit Pokemon game, you like using Espeon then? If this was Gen 5, it'd be QREM that happened on that desk. I mean, your mind went in a very different direction than mine did there. Wow, are you for real? You're for real right now. Unbelievable. If only you had access to a fire type move. Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to heal after like every battle here. So yeah, that's stuff that I'm balancing while continuing to try and get through the get through the Scarlet and Violet essay and stuff. Was the case. One of the things that, since the last stream, one of the things that happened that I wound up putting in the description of one of the episodes of the last stream, since it was something that happened like in between the last stream and me cutting up into parts and stuff, was I've even started getting comments on other people's videos asking when the Scarlet and Violet essay is. Like, there have been some cases now where I'll comment something on somebody else's video, and then people will reply to me on that other person's video, asking me when the Scarlet and Violet essay is. And it's like, I don't reply to them, but the Shadow Pokemon that were made here have been transported out already. But all you want, there's no stopping our Shadow Pokemon plan now. But yeah, incredibly toxic of them. What, ask me that on other people's videos? Yeah, I don't respond to it, because it's like, can you give me a little bit of a chill pill, a little bit of a break here? You know, one of the things that I wound up doing like a whole thingamabob on it in the description of that one part. I don't remember what it was. Was it part like, if I look at my thumbnails, I'll know what part it is. It hasn't been published yet at the time of doing this. It was part 18, the one that has Koraidon and Miraidon, where we just talk about the video essay, and then I write in the description, yeah, here's some crazy stuff going on in terms of some expectations. Oh, sweet. Some expectations that seem to be on my shoulders for that. And it kind of played into a recent discussion that we had during Assassin's Creed Origins, like a couple weeks ago. Interestingly enough, that was at like 2 or 3 in the morning. There wasn't a whole lot of people in the stream at the time. I was mostly just rambling to myself after, one question ended up going down a whole crazy line where we did an hour-and-a-half discussion about like my whole stance as a content creator, which, I'll probably be making a dedicated post about once it's published, because it actually became like a really crazy discussion, where it's like nowadays I'm kind of trying to balance both what I'm passionate about and what I know will continue to grow this as like a side business thing here, because I've only got so long in university here before I end up graduating and pursuing full-time work and stuff like that, and my time for streaming might become a lot more limited. So realistically, this is at the point where no matter what, I would continue doing this on the side. I think it's worthwhile to do on the side of whatever ventures I'd be doing in the future and stuff. I feel like this channel is at that kind of point, but how much it's going to help me out though is dependent on the efforts that I make now. So I try to balance both doing what it is I'm passionate about doing, along with the things that I know will continue to grow this as a business and help give me a better safety net in the future. Because I do like making videos on the internet and entertain people and stuff like that. And luckily, doing video essays on Pokemon is something that I can get behind. Evidently, with a room like this, I'm passionate enough about Pokemon that it's not like I'm forcing myself to do something that I absolutely hate just for attention or anything. Like, I'd never be able to do that. During the discussion of AC Origins, I talk about how, you should never be doing things that you actually really dislike to do as a content creator just because you're trying to grow things, because, your misery will reflect in your content, and, people aren't gonna want to hang by and stuff. So, like, luckily, video essay on something like Pokemon is something that I am passionate about, that I can get behind because of how much I care about Pokemon, evidently. But like, if it were completely up to me, like, if I could make content on anything with my time, I'd probably be, like, talking about some more other things, Like, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is another video essay that I want to do. There's a couple more ones with, like, real-world implications that I've wanted to work on, but I don't know if I have the time to do so, stuff like that. Or things like my Minecraft series, where it's like, here's a playthrough with, like, a subtle story that I'm telling alongside it that I like to think is pretty cool if I ever manage to, see it through. If I ever manage to put enough into it that it gets to a point in the story where like real substance starts happening. Oh man. But so nowadays it's just kind of like striking a balance of these kinds of things. So downstairs key is needed to open the door. Yeah, I have the thingamabob. So what do I need that for, I wonder? So I am passionate enough about Pokemon to continue doing stuff on it. If I was only number centered or something like that, just like, oh yeah, I want to, that's all I want to do, I don't want to be like happy with what I'm doing, I'd probably just completely do like Pokemon essays and that's it. Never play any other games, never play any other games in Pokemon. You're not supposed to be in here, drop playthrough stuff completely and just do video essays on that, Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. So, I like striking the balance between things that, I enjoy and I'm passionate about, along with, having a decent mix in here with stuff that I know that people expect me to see. It doesn't necessarily mean that I like being reminded of these expectations, like when people are, replying to me on other people's videos being like, when's the Scarlet and Violet essay? Like, that's all I am in some people's eyes, is just the person that makes Pokemon essays. Oh, gosh dang it, this isn't great here. I mean, I can always use return or something like that. I'm just gonna do this, I think. Is what I'm going to do, methinks. Like, I know for sure that that's what I am in a lot of people's eyes. I'd be deluding myself if I said that that wasn't the case. A lot of people just see me as the person that makes the Pokemon essays and stuff. And, I'll continue working on them, but it takes me a good while. But a lot of people also seem to have this expectation that, it's right around the corner, it's coming out at any point. If it was the length of the BDSP essay, I could release it right now. Because the BDSP essay was, what, like 2 hours, 20 minutes? And that's close to the length of the Scarlet Violet essay so far. But it's only like halfway done, is the case. Had it been the length of about something like that, I'd be able to release it right now. but you know, it's gonna take me some more time. But I have some people replying or, you know, commenting being like, oh, so it's gonna come out like right here soon, right? I'm like, no. No, it's not. Hello Firm, how's it going? Just saw you're playing Colosseum, so figured to stop by. I hope things have been going well. They have indeed. Firm, I was just talking about you with Sate the other day in regards to potentially doing like some podcast shenanigans and stuff is a thing. Tomorrow is probably going to be the day that I publish the first discussion that Sate and I had on game review scores and stuff, is the case. And we have in mind all kinds of different other topics that we may discuss out at some point. And we were talking out about, oh, there's a Shadow Murkrow. We were discussing out, hey, that Firm nerd will be cool to bring into, okay, I don't want to do that there in that case. In that case, I can just like Thunder Wave here or something or other is what I can do. Say it asked me, what do you think about that Firm nerd? And I was like, that's cool, as long as we don't hear constant time to tip the scales or whatever the heck it is Robin mains need to say all the time, you know? Is the case you gotta claim this one, sorry. Wait, oh, your deep name for whatever reason, this chat that I actually read from has been like bugging out for the past couple days. It shows up in both of these thingamabobs on my other monitors, but not on the monitor that I'm actually reading from. I'm gonna try refreshing it and see if that's the case. Because if anyone redeems things, I might just not notice otherwise. I refreshed it and still doesn't show it. Okay, well maybe from here on. Well, I see on these other monitors that it's redeemed anyway, but it's weird. But yeah, sick, you'd be down to check it out. Hey, yeah, let me know because you'd be totally down to join in just to talk things through about some stuff about topics and whatnot. Sounds good there. But yeah. You're washed and smashed now. I know that feel. All right, and then we I don't know, do that here, and we can probably Shadow Rush. Also, I don't think we're gonna be able to name it for a while because you have to purify them before you can name them is the thing. So like I haven't even gotten the chance to name Suicune or Entei yet. Like I could put down on like I could try to jot down mentally if Murkrow's name, but I don't know if I'll remember. I could leave that up to you for remembering. Maybe Reggie Pump is the case, and if you remember, then hey, great. You know, would I be able to do Surf? Would it be okay? I could probably use Bite just to whittle you down there. But yeah, just use a Time Flute 5-head. I guess I do have that. I guess I do technically have that. Force a Habit Murkrow was your lucky charming to run, so you had to press it when you had the chance. Gotcha. Well, if we ever get Murkrow to be purified in this playthrough and you remember the name you want for it, then let me know and we can name it that later. Sure, let's do that. And nom with the Floridator. So yeah, that's what's going on there. But yeah, anyway, the thing that I wrote in the description of that one, one part of this series was after I noticed that, oh sweet, that somebody had replied to me in the comments of someone else's video asking when the Scarlet and Violet video essay was. I posted that to Twitter just as like a funny thing that happened, being like, oh, well, it seems that now I'm getting comments on other people's videos asking me when the thingamabob is. That sure is cool. And will you believe what happened when I posted that? I got somebody replying to my tweet being like, oh, I assume you're waiting for the update to come out and then you're gonna post the video. I didn't reply to that either, but you know, my mental reply was, ha, as if, you know, as if that's the case there. I don't know, man. You can just use a standard Pokeball on Murkrow there is what we can do. But imagine you make a post on a platform being like that, being like, wow, it sure is crazy all these cases that I'm constantly hearing about this now. And somebody takes that as the opportunity to do like basically the exact same thing. Like, I don't know if it was just trolling or if it was a serious question, but you know, I did not reply to it. I was just like, are you serious? And it was also immediately like the day after we had the stream, like the last stream of this, where I went in depth about like the whole progress of it thus far. You know, was the case. So, you know, what a wacky world we live in. But yeah, I guess that's what happens when you become that guy that makes the Pokemon essays. You know, that's what people see as. Oh, what a wacky world this is. What a wacky position that I found myself over the years of content creation. Again, if anyone wants like the whole discussion of like the whole content creation journey and my whole stance, you know, there's that one episode of the Assassin's Creed Origins series. It's part 60. It's not published yet, you know, with the whole daily upload schedule. But if anyone wants to see it, it's part 60. I've re-listened to it at one point and it's like, yeah, that That's the way things be, huh? Yeah, let's see here. Well, it's a matter if you're around at the time is what you have to be careful about. If we ever even purify the Murkrow. We shall see, because I don't exactly see myself using Murkrow, I don't think. Nom. Come on. Come on. Get in the stupid Pokeball. No, no, gosh dang it. Force a habit from the last turn. I meant to attack the Houndour. Oops, whatever. Too late now. Also, Ferb, if you're stopping in for Pokémon Colosseum, I assume that means that you've played a decent smidge of, gosh dang it, Pokémon Colosseum before, alright? Dang you, Murkrow. Suicune. Suicune failed to hear. Gosh dang it, man. Life sucks. Sucks, man. Well, let's do this. Let's send out both of these legendary dogs here. Is what we can do. All right, here comes the Nom. The Nom. Not a whole lot of a Nom. Okay, do the stupid thing, Bob. Like, Murkrow's catch rate can't be that sketchy, right? I wouldn't think. Hey, you've unlocked Leer now as well. It's basically useless to me. Why is my nose giving me some troubles here? So yeah, that's what's going on with that, essentially. Is a interesting situation. Oh, there we go. Hello, hello, Arduous Hornet. How's it going today? There we go. Sweet. I'm gonna have to heal up again. That'll be the case. So we can just hit with recoil. Get out of here, Houndour. Goodbye. Alrighty. Cypher Peon Lair. You might be young, but you know what you're doing. Hearing Lair. I wonder how it's pronounced in Pokemon Masters. Is it Lair or Leer? But anyway, that Dudo has a really cool battle theme. I should put on some more custom music, is what I should do. We've listened to this lots. I don't think I'll get copyright stricken for the, copyright claimed, sorry, for the Pokemon Masters music, most likely. As I figured, I did get copyright claimed for that one part last time. Hold on. For anyone who hasn't heard it before, Pokemon Masters Battle Lair. Back when I did like Smash compilations way back when, this was a theme that I used at one point. Hold on, listen to this. Whoa, it's loud. I'm sorry for the jump scare. I'm sorry about that, in case it spooked anyone. And the violin's hella cool. Okay, let's go heal up. Maybe I should have saved this for when we actually battled. BRB, okie doke, Reggie Bump. The Pokemon Masters soundtrack is amazing. I love the Pokemon Masters soundtrack. I haven't played Pokemon Masters in forever. I'm not really that much of a freemium app kind of person. But the OST. Mwah, chef's kiss. It's amazing. Truly a gift from Arceus, I must say. Okay, boop-a-da-bop. Yeah, I remember exactly how I used this for a Smash compilation. We love ourselves random mobile game OSTs that slap more than it should. Yeah, absolutely. Pokemon Masters, Octopath Traveler, Champions of the Continent. There was one that my cousin was showing me recently that I forget the name of because I'd never heard of it before he told me about it, but one that he was into. Some sort of tower defense game. Okay, we should be good now, right? We should be good. Yeah, I think this was the theme that I made like my first ever Smash Ultimate compilation to. I think. I could be wrong. But it slaps. There are some ones that slap harder though. This one is just like, maybe it doesn't slap. Maybe this one's a bit more of a bop is maybe a better way to describe it. I don't know. But it worked really well for a Smash compilation. But Pokemon Masters has some really amazing themes. I think one of my favorites is the Zinnia theme. Zinnia's theme was already like one of my favorite themes in the entire Pokemon series. And the Pokemon Masters version of Zinnia's theme is so dang good. I believe it's Zinnia and Rayquaza versus Zinnia. Battle Zinnia and Rayquaza. Maybe they're the same thing. Let's see here. Start a couple seconds in, I guess, because I heard it once before. So, wait, where was I going? I got like some other key or something or other. I was going down a hall, right? I think I was going down the central hall, right? Is what I think I was doing. And I got ambushed here. Yeah, I got ambushed this way, I'm fairly certain. What's this way? What is over here? Yeah, I keep thinking these are like drops. Like there's a leak or something like that. Great, they're leaving more DNA samples in in places here, and what appears to be the showers. I've been hired to tend to Pokemon, so that's what I've been doing this whole time. Were you folks wanting a Pokemon too? Wait, what? Is that so? It's a shame, but they're all gone. I've been taken away somewhere, every last one. Oh, these are places that they had the Pokemon inside. Like the Shadow Pokemon, I would assume. If I get copyright claimed for this, whatever. I don't think I do with Pokemon Masters. I think that the Pokemon Masters stuff is safe. It's just weird games like Bravely Default 2 doesn't like it. Off limits beyond here. Cypher Peon Vanna would like to battle. Alright. Also, this bit, first and foremost, so good. But secondly, when it comes to Pokemon OSTs that slap, was it during Pokemon Scarlet or was it during, I don't think it was during Pokémon Colosseum, but I know we've talked about the Pokémon Duel OST before. The Pokémon Duel OST is amazing. Pokémon Duel got done so dirty for its story mode. They started doing like the first half of it, and then they just gave up eventually. And they were like, yeah, we're not finishing this. And the music that they already had for the campaign was amazing. Pokémon Duel, do you remember it? Do you know it? Yeah, the Zinnia leitmotif there. I love it so much. Slaps so hard there. Is it something you're familiar with? Because if not, I'd be glad to enlighten anyone not familiar with the... Wow, really? Oh, crap. Literally never heard of that game in your life. Have you ever heard of the Pokemon figure game? It just spins like... I just found that kind of amusing. I'm gonna have to heal after this as well, as we always do. Let's listen to Zinnia's thing Bob here one more time, and then I'm gonna switch over to Pokemon Duel. So, it was like in the early 2000s that Pokemon did the Pokemon figure game, where there was like this board where each side, you know, kind of like the TCG where there's like the two sides of the two-player game, except you're moving figures around a board. And let's listen to this one more time because it's amazing. There it is. And when you get in contact with one of your opponent's Pokemon, you each spin a spinner, and the spinner will determine what you do. So maybe the spinner will be like, you know, over half of it is tackle for 50 damage. Maybe a tiny little section of the spinner is miss, and this tiny section of the spinner is like thunder wave, and that makes up like the whole pie or something like that, you know. Is what it can be. Let's just bring up floor data, I don't know. Is what we can do. Probably not a bad idea. And they ran it for a little while, but not super long. It was a pretty niche thing that Pokemon was doing there. And they also kind of discontinued it because the figures were expensive to produce and stuff. They weren't, you know, making as much return on something like the cards that are cheaper to produce. Sweet, there goes Pupitar. And they eventually discontinued it. But when I was in like mid-high school, they decided to make a free app, like a freemium app version based off of the figure game. So the characters that you would collect would be the Pokemon figures, and it would be based off of that. I could probably find like photos of the board or something like that. If I just look up Pokemon Duel, and I played it a whole lot in early high school. I'm usually not into freemium games all that much, but I was pretty into Pokemon Duel. Where's the board? Here it is. If I turn on display capture, I like this. The board would look like this, where maybe I should full screen this. If I like do something like this, and then I turn on display capture from here. Maybe if I just view image, open image, new tab to see it a little bit better. So the board looks something like this. So you had your bench here with your 6 Pokemon, your opponent had their bench with their 6 Pokemon, and on your turn, you can put them onto an entry point, which is either one of these 2 points, and the goal is to capture your opponent's goal, to move a figure onto that spot right there. So on your turn, you can either move one of your figures onto a open like entry point, or you can move with however much movement they have. Most Pokemon would have 2 movement. Some really heavy ones, like some tankier ones, would only have 1 movement, so they could only move 1 tile a turn. And some Pokemon would have 3 movement, which meant that they could zoom, so you could go here, and then on the next turn they could, you know... No, wait, no, you can move with your initial movement, I think, as well. So on turn 1, you could be like 1, 2, 3, and be like halfway down the board. But the ones that had 3 movement were typically like really frail. Like they wouldn't exactly have all that much in the way of attack power, would be the thing. And Yeah, you could have all 6 on the board at a time. Once you had one of your Pokemon knocked out, it would come to one of these slots, which is like out. So it would come to here first and foremost. You get another one of your Pokemon knocked out, and then the initial one goes here, and the new one that got knocked out goes there. And then if you get a third Pokemon knocked out, then, you know, it goes here, this one shifts here, and then that one shifts back to your bench, meaning you can shift it back into battle. So, you know, once you're down to 4 Pokemon, that means you've got 4 Pokemon for, like, the rest of the game, essentially. Like, you're never getting back up again. So it could be interesting how you want to strategize. Do you want to go like right for their goal and kind of leave yourself open at the sides? Do you want to play a bit more defensively with your goal here, take out some of their Pokemon, and then advance in? If you capture these points, then that limits your opponent's ability to bring new Pokemon in. Yeah, it was actually pretty interesting. Like, so if I'm this player here and I have one of my Pokemon on this tile, then that means my opponent can now only bring Pokemon in from this tile here. Like, I've taken away one of their places that they can bring Pokemon in, which means that they'd want to, like, get that back from me, was the case. Let's listen to a, whoops, what the heck? That is not, gosh dang it. I hate that button. Stupid Windows 10. Let's see here. What is another bop of a, theme here? Pokemon Masters OST. Hold on, let's just listen to another Pokemon Masters one in the meantime. Here's the red one. I haven't heard it in a while, I don't think. Just for something to, listen to in the meantime. And so if you manage to put a Pokemon on both of your opponent's thingamabobs, then they're basically screwed. You know, you knock out their Pokemon and they're not going to be able to get new ones in. So they're either going to have to recapture one of these really quick, or, you know, you've basically won. If you surrounded a Pokemon, it would also instantly kill them without even needing to deal with a spinner. So yeah, the spinners look something like this with the background there, where it's like the white spaces would be attacks. There'd be like a special effect thingamabob with blue ones. Those would be SAS conditions, and red would be miss when you spun the spinner. You know, as you level them up, you could, you know, make things like the misses smaller and your hits bigger and stuff like that. But if you surrounded a Pokemon, you would instantly knock them out without having to deal with a spinner. So if I had a Pokemon here, and my opponent had a Pokemon here, like, and we were, you know, locked in that position, and I had one of my Pokemon with 3 movement here, then I could 1, 2, 3, and that Pokemon was surrounded, and they get instantly knocked out. So that's where higher mobility Pokemon could come in. It was cool. I enjoyed Pokemon Duel. You know, played a decent bit of the multiplayer there. There were, like, cards that you could play that, you know, are, like, consumable kind of things, if I recall. And the campaign featured, like, this thingamabob over here, where you went from one tower to another, challenging the tower leaders, essentially. And I think it went up until, like, this tower or something like that, the main story mode. The story wasn't all too great. It had something to do with, like, your, like, phone thingamabob, your little helper thing, not a Pokedex, it's not a phone, whatever device for dueling there, whatever this is, I think, had, like, some sort of sentience, and, you were figuring out what the heck was going on with that. I don't remember exactly. But there was some stuff going on there, and you would go from, you know, you do several battles, then work up to the tower leader, which would basically be the equivalent of gym leaders as you work from tower to tower over here. And it was one of these two that the story ended on, like, originally. And they were like, yeah, we're gonna put out an update that finishes off the story, is what we're gonna do. Like, we'll release the rest of it later. But I guess it wasn't successful enough, and they never finished it off. And Pokemon Duel's discontinued nowadays. It went down, like, a couple of years ago. And the story was just never finished off. And I don't really care that much about the story of it, but the story mode, the battle themes, sorry, that they added to it were amazing. And it makes me really sad that it didn't continue there, because I would have loved to hear what a final boss theme of that game would have sounded like. So, for example, the closest thing that the game had to a final boss in the main game was, I believe, Don Roger here, and his battle theme, so dang cool. Slash? You want to learn how to slash here? We can take off Scary's face. Yeah, yeah. This was Don Roger's battle theme. Yeah, was never resolved. We never get to hear what, like, the true final boss theme of Pokemon Duel would have been. This is the closest thing we have. Isn't it a bop? It's so good. I'm gonna have to go heal. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Oh, battle's not over yet. You didn't have a Shadow Pokemon that I killed an autopilot, did you? Probably not. I love the piano so much. Every epic battle theme should have a bit in it that's calmer like that, to just, like, add to the epicness, you know? in my humble opinion there. It's so good. And what was really cool with Pokemon Duel as well is when you would start getting close to your opponent's goal. I think it's either when you would capture one of their entry points or when you were getting close to the goal or something like that. The AI would, I think it would get a little bit smarter. It would play a little bit smarter, and the music would shift to a more intense version. So there's two versions of every battle theme. It's kind of like a Fire Emblem game where there's the map battle theme and then the actual in-combat battle theme. So this is like the standard thing that plays at first. Let's listen to the calmer bit one more time, and then I'll put on the pinch version. Is the where things get more intense. Wing attack. Give you more interactive music. Yeah, interactive music is the best. We can do that. We can call. All right, so that's the normal version. Here's the pinch version. So this is where things are approaching like the climax of the Don Roger battle. So dang good. Man, Pokemon Duel got done dirty. Again, I'm not usually into like freemium games all that much, but I was pretty into Pokemon Duel. Yeah, think you're tough? What a video game that was. Yeah, I was playing that on a pretty regular basis there. I enjoyed my time with Pokemon Duel. Again, there's not a whole lot of freemium games I've been into. If I had to rate like freemium games I've been into in terms of how much time I put into them, number one would probably still be Clash of Clans from like junior high school when that was like massive, when that was still a new game. A second might be Pokemon Duel. Maybe. Maybe. Most likely. Let's go ahead and heal over here. Yeah. Back when. I never put any money into it. One of my fellow classmates had put several $100s into it, and he was the one that was ahead of the whole class. Man. Not good old Supercell game. But yeah, the Pokemon Duel OST is really good. I should start using the Pokemon Duel OST more in like my videos when it's fitting, because there's some really good music in there. Like, where's the just the menu theme? Main menu. So this is the theme that plays just when you boot up the game and you're on the menu and stuff. It's so good. So a little bit of nostalgia with this theme for me. I quite enjoy it. It's just chill tunes, you know? This feels fitting as I'm like going through the boxes and going through menus and stuff here. But yeah, I think the most I've ever been into was Tales of Crestoria, which really didn't last long. So that was like a Tales of game. I haven't even heard of that one. To be fair, I've only, you know, gotten into / familiar with the Tales of series in like the last couple of years. It's the case, but I didn't even realize there was an app version. Another banger OST, which you recommend. I might have to write myself a note as a reminder to check that out in that case. Tales of Crestoria. Wasn't really marketed much. It was only lasted like a year. Wow. Huh. Gotcha. Don't continue box operations. Yeah, like maybe I could factor this in somewhere in the Scarlet and Violet video essay if we're just talking about like maybe if in the visuals and aesthetics bit I'm just talking about the menus or something. I talked about the menus already mostly during gameplay. If I'm just talking about something like pretty chill, like this is a pretty chill theme, you know? I don't know if there's anywhere fitting for the thingamabob there. But yeah, it's a chill menu tune. I quite enjoy the OST of Pokemon Duel. It's not a super long OST, because, you know, they only did like the first half of the campaign and then they stopped.